Saludos, Amigos is a very interesting film that I'm actually happy I'm going to get to talk about. The Disney studio was on hard times. A lot of the staff were drafted into the war, as well as the fact the studio had lost a lot of money in the previous film endeavors, meaning they didn't have a lot of money to spend on long feature films. However, if you decided to, I don't know, make a movie with the grants of the US government, you get to travel all South America, and that's what Walt Disney and a group of his animators decided to do. For a little history lesson, in South America, some countries, especially Argentina, were actually kind of fond of Nazi Germany, and the United States didn't want them to get involved in the war and wanted them to be on their side. And since, well, popular characters were Disney characters down there because they like their animated characters, I guess, people in South America, they love a lot of stuff, and apparently Disney characters are one of them. So they told the team, go down there and make an anime film to appeal to them so they won't, go against us in future warfare. I don't know how well it worked because, some Nazis were actually able to get into Argentina after the war ended. This movie is a first for many. It's the shortest movie at 45 minutes, 48 minutes, as well as the first one based on an original idea. As you can tell by the footage, it's also a hybrid film, using live-action segments that they filmed on their trip, and then showcasing what the animator decided to animate based off that said trip. Look at that, smoking in airlines. You can't do that nowadays, and thank God, I cannot stand people who smoke a cigarette and pollute the air I'm breathing. A lot of people might just brush this movie aside as, just a filler movie made just because they needed to have another picture out. I even saw someone say this movie's boring on a Letterboxd review, which I find kind of shocking since it's so incredibly short and there's always something new happening. Well, it's nothing too special. There's a lot of passion and effort put into this little film that really didn't need to be this good. And yeah, I actually kind of like this film. Not a whole lot, but enough to rate it a 7, which is higher than a lot of people might rate it. There really isn't a whole lot to tell you other than Disney animators see stuff happening in different countries and parts of South America, let's animate that, let's put Donald Duck in that, let's put Goofy in that, and that's pretty much it. There's different segments, obviously, but there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's mostly they visit different countries and they animate based on what they see. They see a giant mountain and they have an animation about that giant mountain. It's basically how it works. In my opinion, this is a pretty good film if you have a little kid and you're like, hey, here's some Disney animation that's also educational, geography related wise as well as cultural, and I like that. So yeah, I think this movie is pretty good for that in that aspect at least. This film also created a new character known as Jose Carioca. I don't know how to say his last name. Anyway, he's a little green bird guy from Brazil. And he ended up actually being a pretty popular character in there. For some reason, Brazil really likes animated bird characters. For some reason, they love Woody the Woodpecker. No one else likes this dumbass bird, but they do. And he got a terrible movie released only in theaters in Brazil. The movie sucks ass. I had to mention it because the movie's terrible. Look at this little live-action bird. It's lovely, isn't it? If you want to see an anime movie which features birds in Brazil, then I recommend watching this one and not Rio, because Rio sucked. In all honesty, I think South America is a pretty cool place to visit. I haven't visited there because I haven't really been out of my state because I am socially awkward and scared of people. I also like this scene with the two cans coming out of bananas. Lovely. The most important thing this movie gave us was this frame of Donald Duck with a boner. It's actually some random thing bouncing inside of him, but it's you gotta mention it because it's very iconic. For a film this cheaply made and all other sorts of things that went into it, I gotta say it's a lot better than it sounds. This movie's obviously not gonna be for everybody, but for what it is, I think it goes above what it was just had to do, which is just basically advertise, hey South America, we like it and we appreciate you. And you know what? I can agree to that testament. I like the people to the south of where I live. So yeah, there is an actual documentary that goes along with it too, like the actual one with all the footage without the animation with it. So you can actually view that on some DVD and VHS releases of it, as well as probably online somewhere. So that's the only thing else that comes with this movie, other than, well, it kind of had a sequel, and we'll be covering the sequel next time. Its sequel, The Caballeros, actually overshadows it because it's way better, but we'll get to that next time. There's a couple of reasons why I can't rank Saludos Amigos higher. Why I like what it doesn't do a whole lot. Not a whole lot, so yeah, I had to rank it as C tier. And if actually I was given the option to watch all the 3 movies in C tier, I'd actually probably watch Saludos Amigos over Pinocchio and Fantasia, even though they are better films, just because I prefer that conciseness that it has, though it is a little too short. Saludos Amigos doesn't have a villain at all, really. There's a mountain, but it's a mountain, so I'm not going to count it. There's tons of music in it, but I only counted really two vocal songs, and those being Saludos Amigos, which is an E tier. It's not bad, but it's not great. Oddly enough, it was nominated for an Oscar. This movie had 3 nominations for Oscars and didn't win any. They're all based off the sound department. It's fine. And the sound, it sounds good. And then in C, we have, I can't even say that, but it's the Brazil song, essentially. It's in Portuguese, and I'm really bad at speaking English. I'm not even going to try to pronounce another language. So sorry, all the people who speak Portuguese from Brazil to Portugal. Is that pretty much it? Are the only 2 countries that really speak that language? Let me know. I know most, because Spanish overrides that most of the time. But yeah, I don't know. I just went on a random tangent. I'm stupid. Anyway, I'll see you next time when we cover the Three Caballeros.